If you're listening to this, you're probably the kind of person who wants to cut through all the noise when it comes to business. You want the good stuff, the strategies and insights that can actually make a difference, whether you're facing a challenge or looking to capitalize on an opportunity. Well, that's exactly what we're doing in this deep dive.
That's right. We're getting straight to the heart of it, focusing on how business leaders can get organized and actually drive real change. We've been really digging into the materials from Lilly Consulting Group.
Yeah, and what we found is that they work with businesses of all shapes and sizes, from small startups to large enterprises, and they really focus on the big picture stuff that keeps leaders up at night. Things like growth, performance, turnaround, scaling, and even business transitions.
Definitely. And what struck me is that their approach resonates across the board, regardless of your company's size or the specific industry you're in.
So what we're going to do is unpack some of those key insights and strategies that we found in their work.
Yeah, and our goal is to help you translate that into something that's actionable and useful for your own business.
Okay, let's jump right in. One of the first things that stood out to me was their emphasis on a holistic approach.
Right, and what that means is that they don't just focus on one area of your business, like sales or marketing, in isolation.
Exactly. They really look at how all the different parts of a business, sales, operations, culture, finance work together and how they impact each other.
Because at the end of the day, it's about understanding that everything is interconnected.
Makes sense. So let's break down some of their specific service categories.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's start with growth. You know, a lot of businesses struggle to attract new customers, especially in today's market.
Yeah, it's a common challenge, and I think a lot of business leaders feel like they're just shouting into the void.
Absolutely. So, what I found interesting about Lilly Consulting Group's approach to growth is that it's not just about generating more leads or trying to be the loudest voice in the room.
It's more strategic. It's about having a deep understanding of your target market, getting really clear about what makes your product or service unique, and crafting a message that truly resonates.
It's about standing out for the right reasons. And then, of course, it's about translating that interest into revenue.
Right, it's about closing the deal.
Yeah.
And they emphasize equipping your sales team with the right strategies and tools, and most importantly, a clear sales process.
Yeah, that makes sense. They actually talk about building predictable revenue streams. And that resonated with me, this idea of creating a system that can generate consistent results.
Yeah, definitely. And it's about using data to track your progress and make adjustments along the way. Sales analytics are critical for understanding what's working, what's not, and how to optimize your approach.
Okay, let's move on to performance. You know, a lot of businesses, I think, run into situations where different departments are kind of working in silos.
Oh yeah, I've seen that firsthand. It's like everyone is rowing in different directions.
Exactly. It creates a lot of wasted effort and friction. So Lilly Consulting Group brings in what they call efficiency experts.
And these experts really get under the hood. They evaluate your policies, procedures, processes, basically everything you do to identify bottlenecks and areas where things can be improved.
And they're really big on implementing lean systems. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, it's all about streamlining, removing unnecessary steps, and basically getting rid of anything that's not adding value.
Right. And the goal is to create repeatable excellence, a system that delivers consistent quality and efficiency.
And this is where you start to see the real impact on the bottom line. Happy customers, engaged employees, and higher profits.
All right, so let's talk about turnarounds.
Okay, now this is when things get really serious.
Yeah, unfortunately, not every business is in a growth phase. Sometimes things go wrong, businesses get off track, and they find themselves in a situation where they need to make some major changes.
And that's where a turnaround strategy comes in.
Right. And one of the things that Lilly Consulting Group really stresses is the importance of quick action.
Exactly. When a business is in trouble, you need to act decisively to stop the bleeding. They talk about triaging the most critical issues.
And then they work on developing a comprehensive turnaround strategy that gets everyone in the organization aligned.
And one area that they highlight is the importance of human resources during a turnaround.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, they point out that things like poor hiring practices, high employee turnover, and a lack of skilled workers can really drag a business down.
It makes sense. If you don't have the right people in place, it's really hard to turn things around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they take a really comprehensive approach. They look at the company culture, the staffing levels, the operational efficiency, revenue generation, expense management, everything.
Okay, so let's say you're past those challenges. You're in a good place, and you're looking to significantly expand your business. That's when we get into scale.
And this is a really exciting phase for a lot of businesses, but it also comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah, it's not just about doing more of what you're already doing, right?
Exactly. It's about building the systems and processes that can support that growth.
So they talk about investing in equipment, technology, maybe launching new products,
Right. And they also emphasize the importance of carefully evaluating your partnerships.
making sure everyone can scale with you.
Exactly. And the ultimate goal is to increase efficiency and throughput.
Basically, getting more done with the same or even fewer resources.
Yeah, becoming a well-oiled machine. Now, eventually, every business owner will start to think about the future. That's where transition comes in.
This is about planning for what happens to the business when you're ready to step back, whether that's selling the company, passing it on to a family member, or something else entirely.
It's about legacy. And one thing that Lilly Consulting Group is really good at is helping business owners develop a transition plan that protects their interests and maximizes their financial outcome.
Right, it's not as simple as just putting a for sale sign up.
Exactly. It requires a strategic approach.
Okay, so we've talked about these different service categories, but what's really interesting is that underpinning all of this is their 5-step methodology.
Right. And it all starts with research.
And this is where they really dive deep. They use market research tools and techniques to really understand the landscape and the current situation.
Then they move into the assessment phase.
And this is where they really get into the details. They'll engage with your people, analyze your data, and build financial models.
And they don't just rely on numbers. They'll actually spend time with your team, understanding their perspectives and insights.
It's about getting a complete picture.
And once they have a clear understanding, they move on to design.
And this is where they start to develop solutions. And what's important here is that they're not just pulling generic solutions off the shelf.
Right. They tailor their solutions to your specific needs and leverage the expertise that you already have within your organization.
And then it's time for implementation.
Right.
And this is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Exactly. And they're very hands-on. During this phase, they use agile and lean principles.
Which is all about being flexible and iterative.
And then finally, there's ongoing support. So they don't just walk away after the implementation is complete.
Right. They stick around to make sure that the changes they've helped you make are really taking hold.
And this can be done virtually, on-site, or through in-person engagement. They're really committed to making sure you succeed.
I like that. Okay, so to bring this to life, let's take a look at some testimonials from businesses that have worked with Lilly Consulting Group.
Sounds good.
And one thing that struck me is the diversity of their client base. They've worked with everyone from large financial institutions to small startups.
Yeah, and across a range of industries, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a large lender who specifically praised their spot-on insights and their ability to deliver flawlessly, especially during the COVID crisis.
They were really instrumental in helping the lender navigate some critical decisions.
And then we have a precision plastics molding company that talked about how Lilly Consulting Group helped them achieve really significant growth and get everyone on the same page.
They help them streamline their operations and really focus on their core strengths.
And then there's a high-tech startup founder who described Lilly Consulting Group as an unbelievable asset, particularly in helping them secure a Series A funding round and build a strong leadership team.
Yeah, they were really involved in helping that startup get off the ground.
And then there's a major regional print company who talked about how Lilly Consulting Group helped them explain and justify strategic decisions during the pandemic.
Yeah, especially when they were making some really tough calls.
Then we have a growing sauce company whose founder highlighted their ongoing value, especially when it came to clarifying key leadership roles and helping them prepare for a seed funding round.
They were really instrumental in helping that company structure itself for success.
And finally, there's a boutique consultancy that was really impressed by the unmatched clarity that Lilly Consulting Group brought to their organization, which led to a crucial CEO hire, board approvals for key initiatives, and a lot of fully funded projects.
It's really impressive to see the breadth of their impact and the consistency and the positive feedback they receive.
Definitely. So if we take a step back and think about everything we've discussed, it's clear that a structured, holistic approach can make a huge difference when you're tackling business challenges.
Absolutely. And having expert guidance can be invaluable, especially when you're navigating growth, performance improvement, turnarounds, scaling, or transitions.
And I think those testimonials really drive home the point that real positive change is possible when you combine the right strategy with the right support.
Definitely. So as we wrap up, I want you to think about your own organization for a moment. What are your biggest priorities right now? Are you focused on driving growth, improving performance, maybe navigating a turnaround, thinking about scaling, or planning for a future transition.
And to build on that, I want you to consider this. What's one small change that you could make in your organization today that could have a surprisingly big impact down the road? It might be something as simple as having a conversation with your team or taking a closer look at one of your processes.
Yeah, sometimes those small changes can lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.